Yeah, you talk about how many other teams getting added. At that point, it's just watered down. Like you add some of the bigger teams. Obviously, Cincinnati is going to be in the playoff race this year, led by Desmond Ridder, who's very much likely a first-round draft pick. You have Zach Wilson just got drafted by BYU, so big name schools. So talk about recruiting wise, what that's going to do for those four schools coming into the Big 12.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I think it impacts all four of them differently. The school that I look at the closest is Houston. And Houston, for me, I was a little bit surprised they were added to the Big 12 because if I'm a president and I have a vote on this thing and I'm in those conversations of adding schools, well, there's 3 schools that are already in the state of Texas. So now you're handing essentially more firepower to a school that's in your state to go and try and take some recruits. So that was interesting to me. But in the same way, I think that could help Houston. I also think they're going to have to go toe-to-toe with those 3 other schools, TCU, Baylor, and Texas Tech. So I'm really interested to see how that recruiting battle plays out for them long term. The obvious one right off the bat is UCF. Like UCF, I think, benefits the most from this whole operation. So much access to talent in their backyard. And you know the knock on them when other coaches went into the living room, whether you're from Florida, Miami, Florida State, it was, okay, you can go play for UCF, but you'll be playing kind of a different, smaller version, kind of a JV level, I'm sure they pitched it as, of football. And now they're walking in saying, okay, well, we're one of the Power 5 schools too. So I'm really excited to see how much they're able to draw from the state of Florida and maybe get some guys they wouldn't have gotten being in the AAC. And then you talk about BYU. It's impressive that BYU can recruit in general, and that's not a knock against BYU. It's just all the things that come with being at a school at BYU. Like I said earlier today on one of our videos, there is a lot of things that college students want to partake in that BYU has a very strict policy against. And so again, that's not lobbying for or against those things. I'm just saying I think they probably missed out on a variety of guys because of that. So now they have the firepower again of being a Power 5 program. I think that they're going to be able to get more guys. I don't know how this will impact them in the long term. I think BYU will still be great, but I don't know how much this is going to impact them because they kind of were the closest thing to a Power 5 program of these schools that got added. And then in terms of recruiting for Cincinnati, I think just the same thing with UCF, a little bit different. They're still a Power 5 school at this point, which helps them. Now, the talent that they have access to is different than Florida. That's not a knock against Ohio at all. Again, Donovan, I know you're from Ohio guy, so I'm not going to go there. I'm a big fan of Ohio football. I have a lot of guys that I respect that played football in Ohio. Great talent base. I'm interested to see how that translates for them because they're already a really strong program. How long Luke Fickell stays for me is going to be the thing that I'm watching to see how their program develops in the Big 12.
Yeah, I know everybody involved here is betting on each other in terms of their betting on these teams are betting on the conference betting on them. And speaking of betting, guys, it's important that we mention our sponsor here, Bet Online, guys. It's time to get back to football action. It's in full swing. So as always, Bet Online is your number one spot for all your pro and college football action. Get all the latest odds, updates, prop bets, contests at Bet Online. Head on over to the website and use your mobile device. And if you sign up now, you can get 100% welcome bonus on top of what you put in. So you put in $100, they're going to match it with 100 bonus right on top of it. I mean, what better you want on that? Bet Online, the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports. Bet Online, your online sportsbook experts. As we're live right now, the Buccaneers, defending Super Bowl champion, the Cowboys are on behind us. So you could have put something down on that over on Bet Online. A lot of bets on the college football action, but JD had to throw in a word for our Bet Online guys over there. But Donovan, or I think, who did I cut off there with my ad for JD? Go ahead, Donovan.
Well, I was going to finish it up with Cincinnati being, the rival of the Miami Redhawks, didn't have a great showing on Saturday, obviously. But I think, like you mentioned, a lot of it plays on how long Fickell's going to stay. And if you look, where was he going to go, right? He was going to kind of wait out, find the right Power 5 job. Well, now Cincinnati is in the Power 5, right? They're going to be, they're in the Big 12, right? If anything, I think Cincinnati, kind of quietly had arguably the biggest win in here because you just increase your odds to keep someone like Luke Fickell, who's kind of rebuilt that program up into where they are now.
Yeah, 1,000%. I think you hit it on the head. Cincinnati just became a lot more of an attractive job, and Luke Fickell's sitting on it. So the fact that he's already able to be in a Power 5 job, it's like, well, I was going to leave for a Power 5 job, and now I sort of have a Power 5 job. So I would assume there's some sort of pay raise that comes with that as the school brings in more money. But I absolutely agree. If Fickell stays and they can have some continuity with what they've built there in Cincinnati, I mean, they could be a sleeping giant in this whole race.